What's up, guys? Specstar here today with my first battle, week 1 of LD Major Season 5, and we are going up here against Pesky Skitty and his team consisting of Zeraora, Dragonite, Incineroar, Starmie, Hitmonlee, and Mesprit, and the two Pokemon he's got which can Z are Mesprit and the much more likely Dragonite. Now I've got a team right over here that I'm going to switch to. Once I get it set up, here we go. Starting off here, we've got Vest, the Celesteela, and this set, I've got a substitute on my Steelium Z Autotomized set due to the namesake Vest, his advice. The set, aside from the substitute, not too questionable. I'm going to Autotomize. Steelium Z helps me break his team. Everything Steel doesn't hit. Earthquake hits for the most part. Once I start getting boosts, this can be very dangerous to him. Substitute is on this set because a response to this may try to be Blissey. And Blissey, I'm not really scared of taking a Seismic Toss from it. If it does live a hit, the one thing it can do that would really annoy me is potentially a T-Wave or even a counter. And Substitute covers both of them. The set, fairly basic. I've got enough speed to outpace a Zeraora after an Autotomize. And next up here, I've got John W. the Tapu Fini, and we're rocking a Rocky Helmet here. Almost max physically defensive. I've got enough speed for Mega Mawile because I may want Chip on that. This thing can respond to Incineroar and somewhat Mega Mawile. It helps me get that thing chipped down in... We don't let that thing get in too free. If we do, we do. If it does come in, we do have to kind of cut our losses, and Rocky Helmet, physically defensive, is a good way to do that. And I've got just speed for Mawile, as I said. Dual Stab, Nature's Madness, and Taunt. Taunt is primarily for Blissey. Make sure this thing can really break through his team without letting anything recover off the damage. And next up here, we've got Banzai, the Celebi, which is going to be rocking physically defensive. U-Turn, Recover, Leaf Storm, and Healing Wish. Healing Wish is going to be there primarily for the Celesteela. Celesteela is a great matchup, and it's very possible I may want to do an early break and then a late clean with it. And Healing Wish gives me that option. U-Turn, just the most spammable move. I'm going to want to click in a lot of situations. Physically defensive Celebi is largely for Zeraora. It's the best switch into that thing I do have. At least the most reliable. And Leaf Storm, just kind of the best move to do damage to his team for the most part. Allows me to break Starmie if it wanted to be a bulky recover type of variant. And next up here we've got Zygarde, which is going to be a relatively standard set. Max speed, 252 attack, banded. I got Arrows, E-Speed, and Outrage, and Earthquake. Earthquake's added power over 1,000 arrows is meaningful in terms of being able to potentially 2-KO Blissey, which is something that's important for me. And that's the set there, our boy Specs King. Next up we got Big Sun Dave, the Piloswine, rocking its Violite, doing its physically defensive thing. Relatively standard set. I've got Icicle Spear over Icicle Crash for the D-Knight, of course. This thing is going to be my primary answer to that. And Icicle Spear gives me a better chance to KO it, or at least put in range of E-Speed. And lastly here we've got our Skuntank. Again, speed for Mawile. And especially defensively bulky. This thing is primarily going to be there for the Starmie. Very important for me to be able to get rid of that thing early. And let's go back to the game and get this scene started. So I'm going to decide that I just want to lead off with Skuntank. I see that his most likely leads, at least in my mind, are Zeraora, Incineroar, and Mesprit. It covers Mesprit, and the other two, if I get it wrong, aren't too consequential to me. So we'll lead off with this Skuntank here. He's going to go ahead and lead off with Incineroar. I've got my Helmet Tapu Fini for this. And I do not have to preserve Fini because he does not have the Mawile. So it's all here for Incineroar. I'm all in on using it to take down the Incineroar. He's going to bring in a Zeraora here. I'm just going to switch out to my Celebi, playing safe to start it off. He's going to go for knockoff. That damage is really going to make me think that he's an Adamant Scarf set, which really makes sense because I have Mega Zam. So that's my initial suspicion of what this thing is, because that's Adamant, no item boosted damage. And he did click knockoff twice, so I'm keeping notes of that. He's going to switch out here. I'm going to predict him to switch out and actually click my U-turn instead of recovering again. And that's going to look like a max HP, max specially defensive Incineroar. Now I get to bring in my Zygarde, my Specs King, and now this is fun time because he does not look to have that great of a switch in on this thing. So we're just going to click our T arrows here. And the Incineroar is going to go down. He's not looking to preserve that because he sees how hard Fini shuts it down, so he just lets the thing go. He is going to bring in his Mesprit here as I go out into my Tapu Fini. With the main thing I needed Tapu Fini for out, I was very content to send the thing out just to kind of see what Mesprit's all about. I can now afford to really be aggressive with Fini if I want to. And even if he did just opt to go for rocks, I could have got good chip on this thing, which is something I do need to do. Instead, he's going to go for a U-turn, and that looks like bold or timid nature, something like that. Him going right for a U-turn makes me think that he does not, in fact, have rocks, because I think if he did, he would have set them up there. He could be potentially some kind of a Scarf or different offensive set like that, which I'll keep in the back of my mind. I get nice Rocky Helmet chip on that. He brings in Zeraora. My thought process here is that last time I went as Celebi, I could always go into Piloswine. I think he would definitely not click Plasma Fist here, so I'm just going to make an aggressive play and click Moonblast. I do not need to play that safe with my Tapu Fini, so this is just kind of my chance to make an aggressive play as I go for my Moonblast here. He's going to go for Volt Switch, which does an alright amount of damage as he goes out to Starmie. That damage is going to tell me Starmie is fully specially defensive, and that'll let me know that I am safe to go into my Skuntank, especially with terrain up. He's going to go into his D-Knight here as I go into Skuntank. Unfortunately, I do not have Foul Play on this. I'm going to be talked out of Foul Play and instead put Crunch on, so I am forced out here. I'm going to go into Piloswine, which is, of course, my answer to this thing. And he's going to go for an Earthquake. That's going to look like Adamant damage, so good to know, but Piloswine will eat that up because it's Big Pilo. I'm going to get on my rocks. I was pretty sure he was going to go into the Starmie here, and getting up my rocks will force him to stay in and spin, which will allow me to bring Skuntank in, which is going to be nice. Now that Skuntank's in, of course he knows it's right in his face. I'm trying to Pursuit Trap this, so I'm actually instead going to go for Crunch because I'm pretty confident he's not going to switch out here. Fortunately, we miss out on the Scald Burn. Unfortunately, we're going to drop his defense. And that will allow Pursuit to become really spammable, as it's almost doing as much as Recover, and kind of take away his opportunity to save Starmie by getting some plays right. He will lose that by the drop, so that's unfortunate. But fortunately for me, the Starmie will go down. Next, he's going to bring in Hitmonlee. I'm just going to go into my Tapu Fini to kind of feel this thing out, see what it's doing. He goes right for the close combat. That's Adamant damage, which tells me it's probably not Scarf, since that would not outspeed Zam, and if it was Scarf, it would probably be because of Zam. So that's something to take note of. He's going to take Rocky Helmet chip, and I'm just going to leave the Fini in again, get the thing chipped, kind of feel it out. And he will go for a P-Jab, take me out, and this I'm going to decide is a good time to bring in Steela. I notice his team's pretty weakened, and I imagine I'm not really going to want to set this thing up on D-Knight, Mesprit, or Zeraora, so I think this is about as good of a chance as I'm going to get to set this thing up. So I'm going to go right for my Totemize here. He's going to go into Mesprit, and I'm not really sure what Mesprit's going to be doing, so I'm just going to go for Sub in case it tries to paralyze me or something like that. Just get some relatively good information here. He's going to go for T-Bolt, not T-Wave, and that's going to break my Sub. So I'm just going to go right for Heavy Slam here. do 51%, and it's going to be a dirty roll for me to be able to take the thing out again with another one. I don't want to screw with that. I'm just going to go right for my Z move here and take the Mesprit out. One more threat down. It's 5-3 now, but of course there's still big threats for me to play around carefully. He's going to go into Hitmonlee, and I'm just going to stay in. And the reason is because I didn't exactly know what Hitmonlee was going to do. I was going to just see what it did want to do. It could have been trying to go for Mach Punch. It could have been something like Bandit. It could have been Scarfed and just trying to bank on me being slower than I am. If it was Adamant Scarf, because we know for sure it is Adamant. And it could do something like it just did with the Fake Out and the normal gem. So it's good to take note of that. What I think here is that he's just going to go for Close Combat, the accurate move that takes me out. And I'm actually going to make the play into my Celebi because I would take a Close Combat into anything, and I'm pretty damn confident he's just going to play Close Combat here. But unfortunately, we're going to find out that I am pretty damn wrong, and he is going to go for a Blaze Kick, which is surprising to me. Yeah, it was interesting for him to pull that out. I don't know if he was predicting me to switch or not. It definitely wasn't what I expected because, you do risk the chance of missing there. So I'm not going to be able to fire off a Healing Wish here as my Celebi's going to get put in range of another one. So I'm going to switch on my Skuntank here, which is it's just the least valuable Pokemon, and it also gives me a chance to chip this, which is important. I'm going to go for Sucker Punch, get it as chipped as possible. He'll go for Close Combat. Aftermath's going to do damage to him there. And I'm going to go into Zygarde here, and then I am going to actually realize that it was a mistake to go into Zygarde. That was stupid of me. I'm going to explain why that happened and why it was not a good play for you guys watching at home. I went into Zygarde because I was thinking that E-Speed was the cleanest way to pick this off. But then I'm going to stop and realize that that's not the right play because potentially Dragonite could set up on an E-Speed, and that was one of the few ways it could set up if I locked into E-Speed. So I realized that I was way too rash going to Zygarde. The reason I did go into Zygarde, I didn't want Piloswine to get hit by a Mach Punch or anything. No, I seen all of its moves, didn't I? Right, my bad. Yeah, anyway, I was kind of talking with people about the Blaze Kick because they posted that someone tried to say that the Celebi switch was a joke, and me, the guy with my ego, I had to defend myself and say, no, it was not. And I let that distract me, and I clicked too quickly. And, that's just me being a bonehead. But here I'm going to switch out and sack off my... I'm going to try to sack off my Celebi, actually, to get Piloswine in, which No, I'm going to try and sack on my... Not my Celebi, my Celesteela. I'm going to try and sack that off to get my Piloswine in, which I should have had in the first place. But, instead, he switches out into Zeraora, a play I'm not 100% sure about. So I have Celesteela in the face of Zeraora. I'm actually just going to go ahead and click Atomize here. If he didn't want to go for a Sub or a Bulk or anything, I would have been faster the next turn to Earthquake. He goes for Superpower, takes this thing out, and I am here. I'm going to go into my Zygarde. No. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm bodging this. Anyway, I'm going to go into my Celebi because with his drops, I know I can take a hit. And I'm going to go for a U-turn thinking he's not going to want to leave this in on Celebi. My thought process was he knows that I've got to recover here. He knows that I'm not touching Dragonite, so he's going to try and hard switch into his Dragonite to get it the setup it needs. But instead he goes for Knockoff, and I'm going to regret that. Here I'm going to go into Zygarde. And the reason is he's shown knockoff, he's shown Volt Switch, and he's shown Superpower. And I'm pretty confident the last move is going to be Plasma Fist. So I don't think I have to worry about Hidden Power Ice. So I go to my Zygarde knowing that barring a crit, I definitely take any hit from this thing. And I'm going to go for Outrage because that's the move I can lock into that doesn't let D-Knight set up. Need to be careful not to let D-Knight set up. He's going to go out into his Hitmonlee, just sack that off to my Outrage. And here he's going to have to go into his Dragonite because Zeraora is not able to KO me. He's going to go for an E-Speed. I was actually surprised to not see the D-Dance come off there. I was surprised to not see it come off there, but I was also very relieved. And here I'm going to go into Celebi, sacking that off because a losing condition I could have set up is if I continued to let him Dragon Dance while I hit myself in confusion. I didn't want to play that game. I'm just going to sack off my Celebi here as he goes into Zeraora. And now Celebi will go down as he clicks knockoff. I'm going to bring in Big Pilo on this thing. I know that I can take a hit from this thing. Even a crit I would more than likely take. And if Zygarde got crit, then I did create... No, Zygarde's in range. My bad. I'm botching this. But anyway, he's going to go for Superpower here. He's going to do 43%. Pilo eats that. Big Pilo is... that is a fat, well-fed boy. He brings in D-Knight, and I am just going to click Ice Shard after eating that E-Speed. And the thing will go down. So that's going to be my first battle. I haven't done too many commentaries in a while. And the first one I did, my laptop froze. So I got to apologize about kind of botching a little bit in the end. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.